What's going on, everybody? Lee Money here, the host of Money's Crazy Mind and Steel City Renegades. And Redline Radio LLC is proud to partner with Growing Wings Adult Services for the creation of our brand new state of the art production studio. Growing Wings Adult Services has been assisting adults with disabilities in the Northeast Ohio area for the past 5 years. For more information on how Lisa and the team at Growing Wings can assist your family, you can contact Lisa at 234 334 7547 today. Again, that's 234 334 7547. What's going on, everybody? Lee Money here from the Steel City Renegades. And if you need auto parts, there's only one place that I know I go, and that's Detroit Auto Parts. Detroit Auto Parts is the official parts store of Red Line Radio LLC. They have two convenient locations on the east side. You can call 216 531 7373, or on the west side, call 216 398 7373. Mention Redline Radio and receive 10% off your purchase. So don't forget, if you need any parts for your vehicle today, reach out to Detroit Auto Parts, the official home and auto parts store of Redline Radio LLC.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of 4th and 15 with Mel and Smooth. I am Mel, and joining me as always is Ronnie Big Smooth Hennigan. Smooth, what's up, man?
Not a whole lot, Mel. Hot as hell in Columbus, bro. What's going on with you?
My back hurt, man. We had a hell of a show last night. While I'm on the subject, for those that don't know, Great Lakes Wrestling Federation had an impromptu show last night. Had a great turnout. El Salvador got the win over Sebastian LaShawn. Jimmy James got the win over Rex Brody. I'm missing somebody. KJE got the win over the Tiger. And then the main event, which was actually entertaining, the Deo brothers went at it, and they battled to a draw. But the part that had me in tears was the fact that Johnny had had help from a fan to beat up his brother. Like, he just pulled him out. He said, "Hey, take a shot."
Hold on.
You
It's a draw.
Yeah.
In a wrestling match?
Yeah, time limit, man. You can't wrestle all night. This ain't 1932.
Fair enough.
Speaking of that, for those that are wondering who that voice was, I'd like to welcome our guests, or two of our three guests, Luciano Rosito and Eric Davis, the owners of the Cleveland Crunch. I know y'all know who they are. Y'all have heard us talk about them plenty of times. We've covered them all season for the last 2 years since they came back. 2021 defending champs, 2022 runners up. I like to check the paperwork on some of San Diego's players, but that's just me. And our other guest joining us today is the man, the myth, the legend from Channel 43 News Sports, rather. And now in, I believe it's Baltimore.
No. Philadelphia. We got to get it right.
Either way, it stinks. It's not Cleveland.
Hey, you know what? Only the laugh track can help you out. I'm just trying to figure out where you get all this back pain, brother, unless you was doing something in the ring too.
To be honest, yeah, I was. I was in the ring last night. The match with KJE was my match, and it was a clothesline I took. I wasn't expecting. I went left, he went right, and I went right into the clothesline.
Man.
Hey, keep it up, man. I think it's great to follow your dream. I mean, I think sometimes many of us lie, but we still love wrestling. We still follow it. And the thing about it is that it was something I grew up on, and even to this very day, I can be so far with these sports, but let WrestleMania come on, and I can tell you who won, who lost. So it's sad, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing. It really is. It really is a good thing because some of the scripts and some of the storylines are just remarkable. I'm not gonna lie. There are times, man, I wish I was a writer for WWE.
At this point, I don't, because with all that they got going on right now, it's not even worth being a writer. Like, the situation with Naomi and Sasha Banks walking out.
Oh yeah.
I don't agree with creative. I think with all the money Vince has, he should be doing a lot better creative, but that's just me. I'm not there. I don't want Vince trying to sue me for critique. So I'm gonna leave it at that. But I wish a lot of things were different now. And with all of the pro wrestling we got, we're getting spoiled again. It's the Monday Night Wars all over again.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many different options. I think, that's the remarkable aspect about it. And even when you localize it, you see different divisions coming up in the Midwest, on the East and the South, and you see the different stories that are being, but at the same time, every now and then, there comes a new division. There comes a new dimension of this, and it's done very well. And it's amazing that even on some of the smaller circuits, the big boys are watching, and then they duplicate it, years or months later, and you see something on the big screen, and you're like, wow, I know where I saw that. I saw that in the South. I saw that in the Midwest. And so, it's really good to watch. It really is. It's a good entertainment too.
It is. All right, before we go any further, this portion of the show is brought to you in part by One of One Sports Cards and Memorabilia, located at 13221 Prospect Road in Strongsville, Ohio. Give them a call, 440-638-4044. If you're looking for some sports cards or memorabilia that you can't find anywhere else, One of One Sports Cards and Memorabilia is where to go. All right, Luch, Eric, you guys come off a fantastic season, even though it didn't come out the way that we wanted it to, because I was pulling for you guys in the championship, as we all were. Somehow San Diego pulls it out. How the hell that they did it, I don't know. But you guys produced the first undefeated season in Crunch history. What was that like during the course of the season as the wins racked up? Like, how did you guys feel going into that last game before the playoffs?
For me, I mean, it was just, such a unique season. I mean, I don't think you could have scripted it any better coming off a championship, with an undefeated record going into playoffs. A couple new faces on the team. So the general core was the same, but, we also had some different faces in the locker room. So, just to be able to do what we did was special in itself. Luch, you want to add to that?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously it's a big accomplishment to go undefeated. I think, going undefeated into the playoffs there's some sort of pressure that comes with that. And I think, maybe that finally caught up to us. We didn't really have a lot of opportunity to face adversity during the season. So, being in a losing situation, it's hard to handle when you're not in it. But no, I think it just shows the talent on our team to come off a championship, go undefeated, and win in dominant fashion. I mean, it's not even just winning; it's it's winning by a lot. So, yeah, I mean, it makes you excited about next year. A lot of hope going forward that we'll continue to perform at that level.
All right. Now, during the season, I didn't do this, but I ran with it because it was a running gag and I loved it, which was the Grim Reaper knocking on everybody's door.
Yeah.
Class.
Is there any chance, uniform wise, we get a Grim Reaper type of uniform for next year? I'm pulling for that. Maybe that's just me.
Anybody that has that in their logo and want to be our title sponsor, get it right on the chest.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good answer.
Because you know what? When I think I saw it, I think the first time I saw it was like week 3. And I was like, that could work. And I put it on just like every article, every win, it was the Grim Reaper knocking at the door. I loved it. The fans seem to love it too. Winning at home and then dominating on the road. It was like this fit the narrative for the team this year. And I think it stuck so well because Mario's dominant, guarding the net. Captain Dave Jordan. Dave, you were supposed to be here, man. You're supposed to be here, but it's okay. But you had Dave Jordan. You had Boba and Tim before he got hurt. You had a lot of guys that contributed to this team. Do you think this would be considered rock star status for the team as it was for the Crunch in the 90s?
I don't, in a way, yeah. I mean, indoor soccer itself is not obviously as big as it was. So I think to as big as the sport is, I feel like it's pretty comparable to, that status. But I just don't think there's like popularity around indoor soccer as there used to be. But the Crunch itself, I think that gives an advantage over some other indoor teams that maybe are new or don't have that type of, history behind their brand. So, but yeah, no.
I get it and I understand it because that was my thing. This reminded me of the Crunch teams in the 90s that won the championships back in 94, 96, and 99. And it made me think back to when you guys won the championship. It was a thrilling game. Like, it was thrilling. It had action. It was I'm not going to say it was a team that you knew, but it was a team that people knew you would be able to see again with Wichita. And unfortunately, they didn't make it this year. But what are plans going forward for you guys? As far as the team, as far as the fan base goes, we clearly have gotten that. So just want to know what's going to be the next plan moving forward.
Yeah. So right now we're really focusing on summer camps. So just stay on the lookout on our social media. We'll be posting more camps in the communities around the greater Cleveland area as we continue throughout the summer. That's our immediate plans right now. As far as the future goes, for next season, we'll have tryout dates and posted, in the early fall. So be on the lookout for that as well if you're interested coming out to the Soccer Sportsplex and giving it a try to make the team. But as far as venue, keeping options open. So that's really all I can keep it at right now. So it's just more of like just staying up to date with us. As soon as we have something to share, we'll get it out there to the public. So
I have to be honest, Eric and Luch, I love the Soccerplex because that's one of the most hostile places you could play in. because it's so compact. The fans are on top of you. The other team has something, they're standing next to you, but they see the crowd. It's like 3, 4, 5, 600 people in a soccer plex. Like, I hope you don't move for that particular reason, but if you move, I'm really pushing for the the Wolstein Center again, because it seems like home.
Yeah, it holds all the memories from the 90s, right? The 3 championships. I mean, at that 99 game, I mean, they sold out every single seat, all 13,000 seats. So it's the biggest crowd that the arena, that venue's ever seen. So it's a lot of good times, nostalgic moments underneath that roof. So it'd be pretty cool to raise the banners there.
And mind
the
you,
90s.
the basketball team don't even sell out. So that should tell you something. All right. Been brought to my attention. You guys have also ventured out into the community. Luch, you're the head coach of Bryant and Stratton's new soccer team. And how did that come about?
Excuse me. Well, I saw that they had the opening for the head coach position, and I applied and ended up getting a couple interviews and went from there. But the school itself, Bryant and Stratton, Ohio, started athletics 4 years ago. So this coming season will be the first season with a soccer program and also a volleyball program. So and I think just the situation with the crunch, what me and Eric did and what I helped do, putting towards building out the crunch and things like that. I think that obviously helped me get that job and that position, because it is essentially almost the same thing except at the collegiate level. So I'm excited, and definitely lots to look forward to this fall.
Now, are you recruiting from all 18 Bryant and Stratton campuses, or is it just one main campus?
Yeah, so if you go to any of I think there's 4 in Ohio: Akron, Cleveland, Parma, Solon. Athletics are housed out of Solon, but if you go to any campus, you could play.
Oh,
So
cool. That's cool.
yeah, and but I'm recruiting from all over, internationally, every state, nothing's out of the question. So
you out here Nick Saban it.
yeah.
Can I be the water boy?
Oh,
Yeah, man.
Jesus. Oh, and
I'm for real.
no. It's a lot of running for you, man.
It's high quality H2O.
But they don't even get water. Like, if you watch a soccer game, how often do you see them drink water?
Yeah, I mean, you can't come off.
Yeah, there's no timeouts. There's no time. Whatever timeout you take, they add on to it at the end of the game.
I'll bring it over when they about to, do a corner kick.
any stoppage in the game.
Yeah. And Eric, I understand you are coaching youth now.
Yeah, over at Menor Soccer Club for the Wave Travel Program, playing our games out of Kruger Park out there on the east side of Menor. I grew up through the program since U8. I used to play travel there all the way up to high school. So it's like family to me. So I wanted to go back and give back the knowledge and everything I learned, and just from playing the game, and give it back to the youth. And so I'm currently coaching the U9 girls travel team, and we're 2-3-1 right now, but everyone is new to travel. So all the girls came up from the rec program. So it's a new scene for them. It's also new for me, because I've never coached, U9 girls before. So, I was even asking a couple, friends that I have, I was like, hey, any advice to coach U9 girls? Like, this is something really new to me. So they're like, oh, good luck. But it's been fun, man. It really has been fun. We're all learning, and we've established a great rapport so far. And it's all about just improvement, right? Like, it's not even about the record at this point. It's just making sure that I'm doing my job on a weekly basis. And
trying to get a goal sound effect.
yeah,
Really?
no, and getting them better, essentially. And tryouts are coming up in mid-June, so that's cool.
You got it sounding like Chicago up in here.
That's cool to be able to get back. Like, I think a lot of us would like to be able to do something like that, or try to, give into the programs that we've been a part of. And with regards to you doing that, is it something that you've been wanting to do for a while and just didn't have the time at first to be able to devote to it?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely been on my mind, over the last couple of years. Like I was a coach for Geauga Federation Soccer Club back in fall of 2020. And that was for the U10 boys. That was good. We had a really good team. They were a little bit more advanced, so didn't have to work on so much, like the nitty gritties of the technical side of the game. But here it's like, even like after scoring a goal, like what do we do after that? There's a restart at the center circle. Like the team didn't even really know that. So I had to like teach them like this is what happens when this part of the game happens. And so just the flow of the game. So, but yeah, for me, it's culture. It's everything I knew. It gave me the opportunity to play at the level I got to play at, all the way up through college. So, I feel like it was my calling to do this.
Yeah, but I think we have to understand that the game and its popularity has changed dramatically over the years. We can look at the Women's USA soccer team and thank God that now there's going to be equal pay. But when you have so many people playing this sport, witnessing this sport around the world, and you'll be the first to admit, we're behind here in the United States. Now, when you speak of indoor soccer, yes, first we had the Akron Force and then, of course, the Cleveland Crunch. But I remember very well back in 1999 how packed CSU was. And it can happen again. And let's face it, you guys are talking about something that a lot of people can't talk about, and that's being undefeated during the season. I mean, do you know how hard that really is to do? I don't care what level of professional sports, amateur sports you are in, to be undefeated is such a tremendous achievement. Remember, everyone who comes to face you during that time is trying to beat you. You're doing something you've done with everyone. So now someone is trying to be that lucky team that can do it to you. So Cleveland, I take my hats off to you. Crunch doing their thing. I would love to see another day where this sport elevates, even though we're talking indoor soccer, to the point when the Cleveland Crunch, Baltimore Blast, and those teams were just packing them in arenas all across the East Coast, and people were shocked. How did they find this love? I mean, there were guys like Paul Kitson and others, but it can happen again and happened in Cleveland once. It brought a flavor to Cleveland that Cleveland had not seen since 1964 when that championship was won. And I remember it very well. I remember it like, hey, man, we better hurry up and get our behinds over to the CSU Convocation Center. And the fans are so intimate to the game. What I mean by that is that you talked about the mere fact, Eric, just a few seconds ago, how, you're up on them and being in the arena that they're currently in, it makes it a little intimidating for the opposite team. But at the same time, the fans get to know it. The only other sport that we could even think about fans being intimate with the individual players, it's NASCAR. If you know anyone who loves NASCAR, they will say, we get to know the drivers. We get to be with them. We see them at practice. And it's not a situation where stay away, don't come to me. Can you imagine if basketball, baseball, or football had that kind of flavor with its fans? It's a great relationship. Call it soccer, call it football. It's great sports action. And they've proven it this past season, and they've proven it in the past.
Amen.
Well said.
And speaking of soccer, at the national level. Glad you brought that up, Ronnie, because Smooth, you and I talked about this earlier in the week, that the U.S. men and women national teams will now be getting equal pay. And truth be told, I'm a little disappointed. I think the women's national team should be getting paid more.
Well, personally, I think you should be getting paid more than Chuck Coletti gets paid at WTAM, but go ahead.
Yes.
But
I mean, you don't have a bad driving record. I know you haven't been caught for drugs, but go ahead.
no, I haven't.
Man.
But the reason I say
I noticed you passed that one up. Was that a penalty kick?
Oh no, that was great. That was a good one. But the reason I feel that way is because the men's national team has been letting us down forever. We haven't had a decent men's national team since the mid-90s. And because we haven't had a decent men's team since then, why should we even pay them the equal pay that the women's national team gets?
Well, what is the reason that we haven't had a good national team for the men? And it's the consistency. You got guys coming in, guys going out. The reason why some of the names on the women's teams are household names is because they've been the same individuals in that program.
And that's where I was getting at. Like, why can't the men's national team hold on to these players?
There's too much turnover in coaching staff. And
Say it again. Preach it, brother. Preach
Well,
it. Too much turnover. That's it.
That is a problem that the men's national team committee needs to fix. We haven't. I don't think we've ever won a World Cup, if I'm not mistaken.
No.
We made it out of group stage, and I think in 2010 or whatever.
That
But
was
that's about
group
it.
stage.
That was
Yeah,
group
that was
stage.
it,
That's what
yeah.
I'm saying. Like,
Stage. That's like
just to
that's like
put
kickball.
perspective to it.
That's
But
like
yeah.
That's like winning your first kickball game.
You know,
Meanwhile, the women's national team has been kicking ass, even though they've played against better teams from Europe, Asia, Brazil, because Brazil is its own continent when it comes to soccer. So I feel like, and I'm not against equal pay. I just feel like the men's national team needs to fire under their butt as far as why should we pay you and the women's team equal pay, or why should we pay you more just because you're men? You haven't produced anything. Can't make it out of group stage. You barely make it out of CONCACAF certain years.
Right.
You guys got to change. The culture's got to change. Maybe you gotta need to play the women's team a couple times. See where y'all really stack up. I don't know.
You know what? It comes back to consistency, but at the same time, it comes back to a commitment. And I'm sure that if you speak of commitment, what is our commitment? Look at the Crunch. They have a commitment. These owners have a commitment to the area to make the team better. Commitment is the most important thing. If I went and said, okay, without anybody cheating, going to the internet, looking at some notes you took down, name me members of the first national championship team, and you will find some of those same numbers and names, on the World Cup championship team for the United States. One of the biggest stars still today in soccer, and she has long been retired. And I'm sure that my brothers with the Crunch and with the college can say it's Mia Hamm. Mia Hamm is still one of the biggest names. Not even Brandy Chastain can touch Mia Hamm for its accomplishments. But where did it all start? My brothers, all you got to do is look. It started at the University of North Carolina. She was bigger than B.J. Surhoff and just below Michael Jordan when she was on campus. That soccer team led to the United States women's soccer team becoming a World Cup soccer team. Why? Because they took majority of those players that not only won the ACC, but they won the NCAA championship as if they were Dean Smith and they were on the basketball court. And by the way, Dean only won one national championship with Carolina, and that was with Michael Jordan. But besides all of that, they had the type of reputation because of a commitment to a program to breed better champions. And this is what we have a result in today. I mean, if it's not Canada, it's the United States. If it's not the United States, it might be Mexico. It's not going to be Chile. It's not going to be Colombia. It's not going to be Germany. It's USA. That's the way we get down in women's soccer. And we can do the same thing in men's soccer if we take that same formula and do what? Be committed to it.
Reach.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense too. And to add to that, seeing that national title team like that we saw recently from Akron, right? And how exciting that was. It would have been cool to see some of those guys, be a part of it or whatever. Like, it just goes to show you, like you said, commitment has to be there. And for them, I'm gathering, and, of course I wasn't there. I wouldn't have known. But I felt like with Mia Hamm and like her teammates and those who were a part of that group, I felt as though they said, you know what? We did it here. Let's go to this next level and see what we do.
Mm-hmm.
They had a collective agreement and said, let's do that. Because there's no rule against it. You know what I mean? It was like, let's make it happen. If we make it, we make it. And, we do the best that we can. And I agree with all of you.
We can go back to the Crunches, going undefeated for so long. What was it so good about it that we all can enjoy? Winning is what? Winning is contagious, my friend. Winning is contagious. I've never seen a soccer game before.
Froze up. Yeah, he froze. All right. Well, while we work on getting Ronnie back.
Soccer. But the most important thing is commitment. Like I said, the Crunch owners are committed to the excellence. The excellence is like, you heard him. He was like, look, we're going to have tryouts. We want to get bigger and better. We're not done. All right. This was not a complete season for us. This was an incomplete season. If he was satisfied, well, oh yeah, we had an undefeated record, but yeah, Wichita lost. Yeah, we lost. Well, we'll get them next year. No, there's a fire to want to do better than last season already. He wants to go ahead and bring it back to a new dimension and play at CSU. Maybe if the rivalry is really big with one of their teams in their league, then they're playing that game not at CSU, but we take that over to the former Gund Arena, the former whatever it's called, the Mortgage Field House, Rocket Fieldhouse, whatever it's called these days. There's so many damn names. You know that place over there. They play and they play it there. I mean, that's the most important. That's the most important thing. How are we going to get bigger and better? You know, you look at the model of the NFL. You know, who still has the same original stadium? What is it, Green Bay and Chicago, and they're both trying to get new stadiums now? Everyone wants bigger and better. If you can have the numbers, you can get the fans, then you can go ahead and you can have success. But I'm not beyond thinking that the Crunch can't do it again and again and again and set an example for the Indians, the Cavaliers, and the Browns. Can you duplicate that? This is what we did. Can you duplicate that?
Mind
And
you,
that's the
he
key.
said Indians.
Yes.
He
Yes.
said Indians. Mind you, keep that in mind, folks. We don't.
Yeah, I did. I should have said Guardians. I'm sorry.
No, you did it right. We don't refer to that team as that other name. It's the Indians, and will forever be the Indians. And
You know what? I looked at the scores the other day and I forgot I was looking at the Indians score. I was like, how the Indians do? I said, oh, it's Ronnie. Oh, it's the
Yeah.
Guardians. I was like, that's right. Okay.
Exactly. Like
That's why
You know,
Cowboys ain't
I
playing
don't
right
know about you guys, but do you ever like go to a game and look for Curtis Lewa in the Guardians
no.
now.
on the New York subway? Remember
I literally was watching the game against Detroit last night, and I was looking at the uniforms, and it just does not look the same. It's heartbreaking. It's
they're going to have to. They're you know, Terry can come back for Ancona, and thank God he's in better health. But they can do whatever they want until they start winning. That's the only way I'm gonna call them the Guardians right now.
I won't even call them the Guardians when they win. It's no point. It's
Yeah, I
not the
can't do
same.
it.
There's
Yeah. Chief Wahoo forever, man.
yeah.
do it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Chief Wahoo forever.
All right, everybody keeps saying Chief Wahoo forever, but I know there's some people in there. If they had Chief Sambo forever, your ass be talking a different tune right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Touche.
now this personal, boss. Nah, man, it's personal for them. I'm not a Native American Indian, and sometimes I think we have to be very sensitive.
But Ronnie, to be fair,
To the things that may not be so that.
Ronnie, there's a large group that disagreed with the name changes of a lot of Native Americans.
And how much are they getting paid?
Not a-
Wahoo!
not a-
Wahoo! Hey, you know what? What kind of program is this? I tell you what, you go with a word that begins with an N and figure, and I'll go ahead and go give a figure $1 any day, and you can get an opinion change.
That's true.
A figure will change for $1.
That's
Trust me. You know, so we got to be honest sometimes. I mean, that's why I enjoy your show. That's why I've decided to come on anytime I have time to come on, because it's not a matter of what you may say, oh yeah, whatever. I mean, look, for what, 63 years? That's all I've known is the Cleveland Indians. So it's going to take me a while to get that out of my mouth and say Cleveland Guardians. Do I understand why? Yes. Do I want everything to be politically correct? Yeah, but come on, man. Even we talk in school today. Oh, let's not talk about that. That's critical race theory. What is critical race theory? Critical, you scared of my ass theory? Is that what that really is?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
You know, you afraid of the truth theory? You know, so everything can't be politically correct. So I understand you wanting to still call them Indians, and I want you to understand me wanting to correct it and pay homage to those who, you know, are offended by the name. But trust me, if that was the Cleveland Jigaboos or the Cleveland Sambos or the Cleveland Monkey Tunkies, I'm not down with that.
Cleveland would be up in smoke right now if that was the team name.
Oh, yeah. When Lions will come back from
Cleveland would
back in the day.
officially be wiped off the map. if that
All
was
right,
the
but
team.
like, what about the Atlanta Braves and the Kansas City Chiefs and the
Well,
Chicago
Well,
Blackhawks?
here's the thing. See, you got to understand the team history before we even get to that point. So let me break this down.
Oh, I know the Indians' history.
Well, no, not the Indians. The Boston Braves.
Here you go.
They got their name just because they were trying to change what they were, which was a very bad team. I forget the team name before that, but they changed it to the Braves. They ended up sticking with it when they went to Milwaukee and then when they went to settle in Atlanta. With the Kansas City Chiefs, that has no Native American tie whatsoever. The Chiefs literally got their name from the nickname of the mayor of the town.
Okay, so what makes it different with the Indians? It's in honor of I can't remember his name offhand.
Sock Alexis, Louis Sock
Yeah,
Alexis.
from the Cleveland
But
Spiders.
see, nobody
So-
wants to hear that because the people, the 1% that do care that it's supposedly offensive, they know this, but they want it to be to where they're happy. Now, mind you, when the Redskins got their name changed, there was an uproar, and the uproar came from the 99% that you didn't hear about.
Oh yeah, and I'm right there in the nation's capital.
And
I live in Arlington,
there is a
and
group
even till this very day, people struggle with calling them the Commanders.
yeah, and there's literally a group of Native Americans
Time.
on
You know,
Facebook
Eric, I
and
think
the
sometimes right. The Cleveland Indians may not appear to be. I mean, we can talk about it, and that's what discussion is all about. It. No one has to be completely right. No one has to be wrong, and I get it. But there have been examples, and I think it's not fair for us to deny these examples, these depictions, these cartoon characters of Chief Wahoo. And if I was in the Native American Indian, there's nothing for me to be proud of some of these images that I see of your Chief Wahoo.
And you are exactly right, because before 1940, I think it was 41, Chief Wahoo was actually a respectable Indian, respectable Native American chief. When they changed it to Chief Wahoo, that was an ownership decision. It made him look, like
so
a
was
basically.
So yeah, hey, how about that? But so was Tonto, damn it. Okay, so was Tonto. Let's keep it real. Oh, it was a respectable so and so. First of all, what's respectable about going to somebody else's house and, by the way, taking over? But no announcement. I mean, the situation is happening, and people don't want to admit it, and everyone's going to turn and say, Ronnie, we shouldn't be going there. But what do you think is happening in the Ukraine? And how different was that than the first settlers here in the United States? I'm just going to take over the land.
Very true.
All right. I mean, critical race theory, critical truth theory. Okay. Critical truth theory.
Hold on, Ronnie. To answer that question, they actually were smart enough to get permission from the Seminole tribe, which still is taking over 60% of Florida, and they got them to sign off on it, which in tune gave them, I think it's like close to $2 million a year.
Oh, wow. Did you get your 40 acres and a mule? And the other thing is this, and you're talking Florida. That did not happen. That did not happen in the hills of Michigan.
Yeah.
Okay. That did not happen with the Miccosukee tribe in Florida. No. If you want to go history, bro, you came to the wrong person. Okay. Because I'm reading too. No. But what I'm saying is that, yeah, there are some cases, but those cases do not dominate the cases of the Lumbee Indian tribe in North Carolina, of the Miccosukee tribe in Florida. Okay. You just brought up Florida. Let's understand that it wasn't one for all and all for one. The 40 acres and a mule, everything is not just, but at least let's be honest and why some people have the opinions that they do.
Yeah. And like the only off the top of my head to further jump on.
Oh, thank you. Top of your head. Go ahead.
No, I was saying there's only 3 Native American tribes that have names, college names that were signed off on. That would be Florida State, University of Utah with the Ute Nation, and the Chippewa Nation up in Central Michigan. So when you do throw money into the mix, it does change a lot. And
you take ownership, but at least you're asking for permission.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, there was somebody didn't ask for permission to bring your behind over here from some part of Africa.
Yeah, it's true.
They just took it. Okay. Yep. And nobody wants to talk about that. Oh, don't bring that in. So. I get it. I don't want to talk about it either. It hurts. It hurts. But you know what your grandma always told you? The truth hurts. But the truth will also set you free. Yep. So, all right, I'll get used to Guardians. I think it's a corny name. I'll get used to Commanders.
I
think it's a corny name. But the thing about it is that why was one of the rivalries so big? Okay. I come from a different generation. You woke up on Saturday mornings and midday, you were watching the Lone Ranger, you were watching Zorro, you were watching the Rifleman, and it was all about the Cowboys and the Indians. So that's why one of America's greatest rivalries and biggest TV rated football game is the what? Dallas Cowboys and the what? Washington Redskins. There you go. And so it goes back to the origin of who we are, what we have been believed, what we've been taught, what we perceive. And it is unfortunate, but it's okay to have the truth along with that as well. You know, it's not going to stop us. The one thing that I love about what we all do, and I think we can all admit it, doesn't make a difference. And this is what I love about the Olympics, especially when you talk about camaraderie and national camaraderie. You may not know me, I may not know you, but the one thing sports does has been a vent of frustration, especially for racial discord in this country for years and around the world. And we can go back and look at history, and we can look at an American, be it black, be it white, but if that individual has won that gold medal, you know, I mean, many of the individuals in that studio perhaps could care less what Mark Spitz did or Michael Phelps did in the pool. But we're talking about two of the greatest Olympic swimmers ever in the history of America, okay? But because they were Americans, because it was a sport, because we called them athletes, because we saw the commitment to their endurance to excel and perform, we loved it. I don't know, and I can't say if anybody there is a figure skater, okay? But when you see an American figure skater do some tremendous things on the ice, we become fans, and that's sports. There are many of us who have gone to events, and maybe we didn't tell everybody that we were Cleveland Brown fans, Cleveland Indian fans, Cleveland Crunch fans. And you may not look like me, excuse me. But when we win, you're my brother, you're my sister.
Yep.
And that's the great thing about sports. That's the great thing about sports. So we can disagree and we can agree, but the one thing we can say, man, when you're coming from the 216, the 330, and you're about that winning, I'm embracing you. I'm going to embrace you 110%. Because that's, you know, that's where I'm not gonna lie. I love Ohio. I didn't say part of Ohio. I didn't say Southern Ohio, Central Ohio, Northeastern Ohio. I love Ohio. You put Ohio State on, I'm watching it. Okay? You put the Indians on, the Guardians on, I'm watching them. You know, the Browns, I'm in 100%. You know, the Cavaliers, I'm in 100%. You know, what was so great about this past season is that no one really saw it coming, that they would be competitive.
Not at all.
They would be in games. And it feels good because you know what? Cleveland has never had, with the exception of maybe, getting the number 1 draft pick and getting LeBron James, we just never get that really good luck. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we get an Ernie Davis, and unfortunately, you know, he contracts cancer and he dies. You know, we get Jim Brown, and the moment we think he's about to do something else, he says, I want to do the movies. You know, we get Sean Kemp, and he gets overweight. He can't stay on the Slim Fast diet. Whatever the situation is, man, I mean, outside LeBron, I mean, in that championship, you know, we get to the World Series, we get to Game 7, 97 with the Marlins. We get to Game 7 with the Chicago Cubs. You know, but,
he was here.
Say it again.
He said you had to bring up 97. I said he
Just
was
the
here.
World Series in general, both of them.
Yeah. I'm just talking about Game 7. That Game 7, of course, you know, the later Game 7 most recently with the Chicago Cubs. And, you know, it's just that we get so close. And I'm like, man, but then you have the resolve of a team that's undefeated in the crunch, a team that won it all in 99, a team that was just doing so many great things. But we've got to get corporate Cleveland back involved in the crunch. And you guys are setting a precedent. I just want this to happen. Once the crunch get what they have and what they need, okay, they better not forget you guys. Because when there was never a platform to talk about what they're doing, there was you. You know, it's like the girl who was a good-looking girl, but until you started sharing everybody how good-looking she was, and then all of a sudden she started feeling herself, and she like, well, I don't go there no more. I'm like, what the hell you mean you don't go there no more? That's how you got on. So you guys have put them on.
Man.
No, seriously, you put them on. You've made people think about the glory days, the nostalgia of the past, you know, and the present looks future. I mean, the future looks great, you know, not there, you know, the present is good, but the future even looks better. And so they need to make sure that, you know, when they're doing something, they come back and they're thanking you, because it's what's happening right now is that, you know, you got mainstream radio and, you know, they got the big corporations, you got iHeart, et cetera. And then they don't want to use the same people. You know, all of a sudden, Bruce Jenner came back 14 times. And I'm like, oh, my God. It's like, you know, no offense, but more or less Levine. And I know he's passed away. But when is that rerun going to come around? I'm like, get somebody new into the joint. These new young sports minds, casters, fans are good too, and they have opinions that are better than yours, and they can see things far beyond your scope. Let them in. Stop playing with the Goldies of the world. There are other voices,
Yeah.
and they need to be heard.
For sure.
You got a great format, but trust me, there are other voices that need to be heard because I'm going to tell you, you can talk about things that they can't talk about on commercial radio. It's just that simple. They're afraid. Well, I may not get that job. God give a damn about that job. Talk from your heart and you will reach in the real fans
Right.
because the real fans are going through it in Cleveland. The real fans are the ones frustrated with, man, I just can't get myself to say Guardians. I mean, I don't mean no disrespect, but man, it's hard. It is hard. Ask me, did I get rid of my Cleveland Indians jerseys? Nope.
No.
Ask me, do I have a Cleveland Guardians jersey? Nope.
Do you have a Ravens jersey?
Hell no. I'll piss. I'll pee on that. I'll pee on that. Nah, you. I mean, I'm originally from Baltimore, but you got to realize I'm old school, man. I mean, the Colts were my team. You know what I'm saying?
100.
The Colts were my team. I mean, I'm not a liar. I'm gonna tell you the truth. It would have to be cold outside and about, let me see, 60 degrees below zero. Somebody said, sir, are you cold? I was like, yeah, there'd be a Ravens jersey. I'd be like, all right, just don't take a picture of me wearing this. As soon as I get warm, I'm gonna burn it. You know, it has to be something like that. I mean, you ain't gonna catch me. You're not gonna catch me in that gear. Okay.
That's respect.
All right.
That's respect right there.
We need to get you
No,
a
man.
feature.
Plus, man,
Amen.
look.
Honestly,
Look, who does see
Exactly.
black guys can say this and you guys are gonna laugh. But y'all know it's funny, and most people think about it. You ready? You ready? Everybody I want you to answer this question. This is a trivia question. All right?
Go ahead.
Buckwheat plays for what team in the NFL?
who was it?
Buckwheat?
I said Buckwheat plays for what team in the NFL? Buckwheat, Little Rascals.
I know. I'm trying to think.
Negro, you know who it is. It's Lamar. You stood up there trying to be all polite. Man, y'all soft. Y'all soft. Y'all soft. I called him Buckwheat. I called him Buckwheat on TV here in Philly. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, wow.
My family lost their damn mind. How could you do that? Tell that boy to do something with his hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do look crazy.
You know he look crazy. If he ain't play for your team, you'd be like, man, he look crazy, man. And everybody, and check this out. And check this out. Don't think that he's going to get better this coming season. He'll probably have his worst season this year. They catch up to you in the NFL, man. If you're a gimmick, they're going to figure that gimmick out. Why do you think they have defensive coordinators, offensive coordinators? Why do they think they have special teams people? Because they specialize in breaking that film down, and they know exactly. He has not increased his ability. His ability is starting to decrease. His efficiency.
Ronnie, you had said that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Because Smooth has said Smooth has been very critical of Jackson. As he even texted me one day. He's like, I think Pittsburgh figured out the blueprint to stopping Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
What?
They have.
That's good.
They sure have.
And speaking of that, because we're going into that area, NFL free agency still going on. Not a lot of talk has been going on, but I want to get everybody's thoughts in this room and on this show about this. What do the Browns do with Baker? As we've already seen, they've got Jacoby Brissett, they've got Deshaun Watson, who will obviously be the starting quarterback for the Browns whenever they leave him the fuck alone. And they have Jake Fromm, which I didn't know until Smooth brought this to my attention. Like literally 2 days ago, he sends me a video of the Browns doing workouts, and you literally see Jake Fromm in the Browns gear. So you got 4 quarterbacks. At least 2 out of the 4 are way better than Baker. What do you do with him now that you have a quarterback situation most coaches would kill for?
Take what you can get from him. I think personally, like being in Cleveland, like I think he's already knows, like in his mind, like he's not coming back. So, I mean, you're not going to get much for him, you know, trading for him. But at this point, the relationship's been, it's just there is none. You know, how can he come back, knowing everything that's happened, right?
But here's the thing, and Luch, I want you to chime in after I say this. We all know you're owners of a team. It's a business.
Right.
It's business first. You do what's best for the team. You signed that free safety. You called Kevin Blackwood. Shout out to Blackwood. You signed him. He's built like a linebacker. He knocks people into the wall. You're not gonna just let a guy go.
No.
Just off of a whim. Baker did everything that he could with all the coaching issues, with all the offensive coordinator issues. He did everything he could. The Browns front office is allowed to shop around. I don't know if people understand that part when you're dealing with football, especially. You're allowed to shop around for better because you're always trying to get the better quarterback. You knew coming into this year, the crop for quarterbacks in the draft was terrible. Next year's crop is going to be way better. Probably going to be the best it's been in the last 5 years. So for Baker to say he's hurt, he's this, he's that, as a former player myself, I've seen it. You can't be hurt because at some point you knew this was coming. And for you to put yourself in a bad situation this past year, playing hurt,
right,
with your shoulder falling, with your non-throwing shoulder falling off the bone, you should have knew this was coming. They may not have told you up front like you feel they should have, but as a player and as an owner and as a general manager, they don't have to. All they have to see is the evidence and the body of work. The evidence is you were hurt last year. The body of work was you did not look like your playoff year.
Right.
So because you did not look like your playoff year and you have a contract year, we have the option to pick it up. But are we going to be happy with what we got last year? No. So yeah, off-season meetings, we're going to talk to Houston. We already knew Deshaun Watson wanted out. He was just the one that caught the baggage of the aftermath of losing J.J. Watt, DeAndre Hopkins, excuse me, and Jadeveon Clowney. No, it wasn't unfortunate. They knew that ownership was shady.
Wasn't it something with their head coach?
Head coach was a piece of shit. Ownership was shady.
Yeah, that's just, I mean.
And they knew it. They got out before shit really hit the fan. Deshaun Watson was just the baggage. He was the one that got caught sneaking out of the hen house. So I don't blame Baker for how he feels, but at the same time, Baker, you knew it was coming. You played hurt. Exactly. You shouldn't have played hurt. You spent more time doing the commercials of Baker at home than you did focusing on the team. And a lot of those games in 2021 were winnable. Like they were very winnable.
You're going to always be judged off your performance.
Exactly.
Most recent performances. So you could have, once you got hurt, you could have elected to get that surgery, sit down, and now we're in a different situation.
And like I told Smooth, I don't trust Case Keenum with a potato gun, but if that's all we got,
I mean, he did well for us when he went in.
He beat the fucking Broncos. That was 3-90.
You know what's funny? You know what's really funny? You know what's really funny? No, seriously. I'm sitting back here, I'm listening. You know what's really funny about this conversation? We're talking like Baker Mayfield was a great quarterback. Baker Mayfield had great weapons.
Yes.
And it made him a decent quarterback. He wasn't even good. And even on his best year, the gimmick is simply this. If it's not play action, what is he doing? Nothing. He's a midget, damn it. He's too short. He can't see.
They said that about Drew Brees.
And guess what Drew Brees did?
That's what I'm saying.
But you can't look at Drew Brees that way. He's got a brain on his shoulder. He wouldn't have gone out there with a bad shoulder, even though it wasn't a strong shoulder. Drew Brees wouldn't have been trying to do more commercials and be an all-star in commercials. He wanted to be the man. And now, if you go back and tape, since you're going to say Drew Brees, what about Drew Brees? You're going to be the man and say that. Go back and tape and go, Ronnie Duncan said, take Ricky Williams, and then you can take Drew Brees in the second round, same draft. Oh, wow. Can you imagine how that would have turned out?
That would have
probably would have turned out pretty damn good, but we wanted Tim Couch. Okay. All right. I mean, come on. Let's go ahead and say the way that it is. Barry has done the right thing. Let this kid go. He's not good. Let him have his 18 million. I would suck on the 18 million if I could. This kid is not that good of a quarterback.
And maturity wise, he's just not.
Hey,
there
to be
either.
fair,
No,
like,
no, right. And who would want to play with him? You wouldn't even want to be on stage with him right now if you had to, because
Listen,
of the type of individual that he is. No, look at this. Everybody is going to forget this, but Ronnie Duncan doesn't. Okay? And I'm almost sure that if Romel, if Eric, if all of you guys, and Mel, whatever, if somebody said, hey, man, you're going to kneel with us? And Eric said, yeah, I'm going to kneel with you before the national anthem. I'm with you. We're a team. We're brothers. And then you don't do it? Dude, you can't be trusted. You renege on everything and every word or accomplishment that you say you're about and what you have to do. You never do what you say you're going to do. You do just the opposite. You cannot be trusted. You're the quarterback of this team. And you cannot be trusted. Let him go. We already know Jake Fromm is better than him. We haven't even seen him in a Browns uniform during a game. We know Kobe Brissett is better than him, and we haven't seen him in a game.
hey, you know what, Ronnie?
Can I make a one point before you? I mean, you have Odell Beckham Jr. and you have Jarvis Landry, two LSU teammates on the same team. It's like only in Cleveland we could not make that, like the trio with Baker involved, work. How? It would have worked in Pittsburgh. It would have worked in New England. It would have worked
with
anywhere.
another quarterback, not with Baker though.
I know. So what does that tell you?
He's short and blind. Okay, he's short and blind.
He wanted the spotlight, and he thought
No, he wanted a commercial. What do you know him for?
commercial.
You know him for a commercial.
Oh, for sure.
Matter of fact, I'm not getting Progressive ever because of Baker.
I was at a point where I was like,
Progressive just lost the cut potential.
You know what? You know what? You know who Deshaun Watson should get a commercial with? The Good Hands people. Because now we in good hands. All right. All right. He either you put good hands on him. You put good hands on him.
Some sort of animosity going on behind.
No, but Deshaun is going to bring something to Cleveland. Cleveland hasn't seen. The only problem is that, man, we got to protect him.
Yeah.
You know, he's a pocket quarterback. He can run.
And that's the good thing about it. That's what I was going with the Drew Brees mention. Drew Brees, you got to remember, it's two different eras of football that Drew grew up in and Baker grew up in. Baker comes from a conference in college that's totally pass happy. They play no defense in the Big 12. Drew Brees came from the Big 10, and when Joe Tiller, who was the head coach of Purdue,
head coach at the time,
he got tired of getting beat on.
Mm-hmm.
He had some of the best defenses in the Big 10, but his offenses stunk. So he came up with this idea, hey, I got this quarterback from Texas. Let me see if he can read this playbook and figure it out. And he did.
And not only was he that, but you know, some record. No. Who said to me? They said, but Drew Brees, and I was like, yeah, but Drew Brees proved himself in the league. He forced San Diego to have to make a decision,
right,
which was a bad decision.
I was just about to say that.
Okay, missed the fourth quarter turnover. Okay, and we know exactly how that ended. Ask the folks in Indianapolis. Golly, he did the same thing, and that he did here, he's going to do it again. I mean, he was just that kind of guy. However, and he was that kind of kid when he was at North Carolina State too. A lot of people don't realize that. I mean, he always had a gunslinging arm. He was like
Phillip Rivers.
Phillip Rivers. That's what I was talking about. But Phillip Rivers was more North Carolina State. You know, so I knew I was talking about. But Phillip Rivers is more like Brett Favre about it. You know, I mean, he could get you there to taste it, but he's not going to finish the job because he's going to make a mistake. But what I'm saying in reference to Drew Brees proved it. He was the better because all they needed was what? A quarterback. And that's what the Browns need right now. I mean, come on. Be honest, fellas. Tell me somebody better. And I'm talking about durability. Because I've never seen anybody come back from meniscus and still go for 1,000 yards than Nick Chubb. This kid is a freak, man. He's stronger than everybody. He
Yep.
gets better each and every year, and we cannot afford to lose these great years with Nick Chubb because
Yeah.
of Baker Mayfield. Really?
It's funny you mentioned Chubb because everybody laughed at me when I was talking about him in that draft year, and folks was like, "Oh, talking about Saquon and all that." And I kept telling people, I said, "Chubb is better than Saquon," and people laughed at me. And I said, "Okay, that's cool. Go ahead and laugh because we're gonna see it,
Mhm.
and we see it. We see it right now because stuff don't always translate in the NFL, man. I'm just saying."
Yeah.
But
I
my
mean,
thing
it's
about
just it's just sad, as to what has happened. I think we got to look at it for what it is with the NFL, and I know that a decision, according to a friend of mine in the NFL offices, should come down this week. I'm sorry, guys, I'm trying to park. Should come down this week in reference to whether or not what the punishment is going to be for him, or how many games he's going to be suspended, and et cetera. If the Browns are able to get off on this, and they're no more than 5 games, and maybe as many as low as 3, they're going to be okay. I think Bichette, can be the understudy until we get into a more sophisticated week 3, week 4 defenses, and etc. I'm
Ronnie,
telling you, and yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
it's funny that you bring up Brissett because I literally saw this last night. I got a friend, Ron Smooth.
Go ahead. I'm listening. You there? Did I lose you?
looks like they're freezing a little bit.
Okay.
Let's see.
I'm still here, right?
Yeah, you're still here. I'm still here.
Okay. Okay.
I'm letting them know now.
Okay. Maybe we're no longer there and they're there. I'm not sure. Well, look, man, thanks for having me on. I'm going to have to let you go anyway, if
Okay.
you don't mind, because I've got to start to be at work, and I told him I'd be here around 4 o'clock for a 6 o'clock newscast. All right?
Well, always we definitely appreciate you, man, for joining us for
Hey,
sure.
no problem, man. And I know sometimes you probably think I'm the craziest guy in the world, but I'm passionate about my sports. All right, brother,
This is
I'll
all
talk
love,
to you.
man.
All right,
Take
man.
care.